Hey guys, how are you? This is Belle. Welcome back to our GH Fast Dry Dipping Powder live stream. So today we're going to show you the 6 colors and they all come from our G642 Fast Dry Dipping Powder. Well, as you can see, this kit includes 6 pieces powder and the 4 pieces essential dip liquids. Let's check out the dip liquids one by one. This is the number 1 base. It's super easy to apply. And this is the number 2 activator to make the gel top get dry and double shiny. And this is the number 3 top coat. And the last one is the number 4 brush saver to help you to clean the dirty brush when the powder sticks on it. Well, first, let's check out the color chart of this G642. As you can see, they all kind of warm colors, nude colors. So as we all know, the autumn is around the corner. So you can just choose 3 of them to make a perfect match and start your own manicure. So today our nail tech is wearing the number 23 from the G642. Well, let's check out today's nail art design. Well, today we're going to use the number 29 and number 35 from the G642. And the glitter GH145 from G6605 to finish this nail art design. And guys, I'm so sorry to tell you that we don't have the lightning deal for today. I think we're going to have the lightning deal from 9th of October. So for further information, you can just check out our Facebook and Amazon. So now let's start to do the nail art design. Well, this is the number 29 from G642. Well, let's open the caps. And this is the number 29 from G642. Sorry. I think the first one should be 35. Well, this is the GH145. And this is the chunky glitter from G6605. Let's open the caps one by one. As you can see, it is very grand and chunky. Well, make sure you stir the powder before you use it. As you can see, we have already done all the preparation. So now let's take out the bumper pad to dry your nail bed one by one. And I want you guys to remember that before using the powder, we have to use a nail stick to stir the powder well to avoid sticking together. Especially for some thick colors, because when you dip finger into the color powder, it might easily get clumpy or uneven. So you have to stir them well before use them. So we have sanitized our hands. Let's take out the number 1 base. As you can see, the cap is very easy to open. But if you found out you received the one that the cap cannot open, you can just contact our customer service. Or you can just put it in a very warm water. But when you apply the base, just make way down your nails and put the liquid to the cuticle area. But remember, avoid getting the base onto the cuticles because powder will put out whatever base is applied. Well, let's dip into the color powder. Well, for this, we are going to do a color block style. We're going to use 3 colors. It is the number 29 and number 35 from G642 and the chunky glitter, GH145 from G6605. You can also check this kit on our Amazon. Well, dip into the color powder state for a while, then tap it off Use this fluffy brush to help you sweep away the loose powder that sticks on your nail plate. Now we are start to apply the second layer. Remember, every time you have to apply it very evenly, from middle left to right. But avoid getting the base onto cuticle area, because it might easily cause the lifting or chipping problem. Then we start to dip into one color. Stay for a while, let the powder can well react it with the dip liquid. Then we turn to the second color. Dip at a 45 degree. Then tap it off. Finally is the chunky glitter. Then tap it off. Use this fluffy brush to help you sweep away the loose powder. Well, remember that every time when we apply the glitter on, we have to apply one more layer of base as a cover to protect the nail art surface. Because after that, we have to do the buffing and filing. So you have to apply one more layer of the base. Just dip into the clear powder. You can also use a pusher or a nail stick to apply the clear powder on, because we don't want the chunky glitter messed up the clear powder. Then we just turn to another hand and we are going to do the same nail art design. Well, repeat the steps before. Let's take out the number 1 base and brush it evenly when you apply the base. Just apply a very thin stroke and a very quick stroke. Do not over apply, otherwise the powder might get clumpy. Even our fast drying dipping powder is smooth enough, but if you apply too much base, it's gonna get clumpy or uneven for the nail surface. Well, just dip at a 45 degree. Then finally is the chunky glitter. Stay for a while and let the liquid well absorb with the powder. Then tap it off. Use this fluffy brush to help you to brush off the excess powder. And then we are going to apply the second layer. Well, you have to apply it very evenly. Avoid getting the base onto the cuticle area. Then dip at an angle into the color powder. Then we come to the second color. Then finally, we just dip into the chunky glitter. Then tap it off. Use the brush to help you brush away the excess powder. As we apply the glitter on, so we have to apply one more layer of the base powder. It is to protect the nail surface. Just dip into the clear powder and tap it off. Well, for our GH fast drying dipping powder, because it is highly full pigment, so we just need to apply 2 layers, and that is enough. Well, let's take out the number 1 base. We are going to do this ombre by using the glitter and the number 29. Take out this fluffy brush and sprinkle the powder on the top of your nails. Just tap, 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 tap it off. And then we just sprinkle this glitter on and sprinkle them on the bottom of your nails to make a perfect ombre blending. And then we just sweep away the loose powder that stays around your cuticle area and your nail plate. And for next step, we're going to apply the second layer of base. Avoid getting the base on the cuticle area, because powder will put out whatever base is applied. And then again, just use this fluffy brush to sprinkle the powder. Just tap, 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 tap it off. And just do it very randomly and naturally, because we are going to make a natural, perfect ombre blending. And then we sprinkle this glitter on. Just tap, 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 tap it off. It's super easy for beginners to do this ombre blending, but you have to do it very quickly. And then we are going to use this brush to sweep away. You can also find this fluffy brush and the fast dry dipping clear powder on our accessory kit. Because we use this fluffy brush to sprinkle the powder on. So when we are doing this ombre nails, we have to apply the clear powder as a cover. Well, we have already finished this nail design, this ombre design. Well, we're gonna repeat these steps and apply the base. Just make way down your nails and push the liquid to the cuticle area. Then we use this fluffy brush to sprinkle the powder on. Well, for our base, it's super easy to apply, just like a regular polish. So it's very easy to operate for the beginners. It won't keep running everywhere, and it is very well controlled. But every time we have to brush very evenly from middle left to right. And then we are going to use this brush and sprinkle the powder on. Just tap, tap, tap. Tap it off. Well, basically, we just coat 2 layers when you are using our GH Fast Dry Dipping Powder. If you are doing the whole steps very well and correctly, I think your manicure can last like at least 2 or 3 weeks. Just follow our tutorial steps by step. Because we apply this glitter on, so we have to dip into the clear powder as a cover to protect this nail surface. Because next step, we're going to do this buffing and filing. So we have to do this step before filing and buffing. And after every time use, kindly keep your caps tightly closed, because you don't want to mess up the colors. And next, we're going to do this solid color is just use one color. Then dip in at a 45 degree and stay for a while and take it out. And tap it off. Use this fluffy brush to help you sweep away the loose powder. And then we start to apply the second layer of base. Then we just dip into the color powder, stay for a while. Avoid getting the base onto the cuticle area. And brush off the excess powder. And then we turn to the top fingers. Let's take out the number 1 base. And make sure every time you brush it evenly. From middle left to right. Avoid getting the base onto cuticle area. Then just dip into the color powder, stay for a while, and let the powder well stick on your nail plate. And brush off the excess powder, then stays on your nail plate. And then we start to apply the second coat of base. Just apply a very quick and thin stroke. And for our base, this is also a unique formula. The thickness is just good and perfect for beginners because it won't too thick or too thin. And brush off the excess powder. For our GH Fast Dry Dipping Powder is highly pigmented, so we just need to apply 2 coats and that's enough. And for our GH Fast Dry Dipping Powder, it is smooth with correct sizes. So after every time you dip into the color powder, the nail surface just goes very even and won't get clumpy. So when you do the buffing or filing, you just do it very slightly. Do not over filing or buffing. And now we are going to apply the second coat of base and to create the second layer of this sweet color. And make sure the powder picked out whatever base is applied. And brush off the excess powder. Well, we have already finished one hand. So we are going to repeat the steps before. Well, just brush it evenly from middle left to right. And then dip into the color powder. You can just repeat for more coverage as needed. But basically, we just suggest 2 layers and that's enough. And avoid getting the base onto the cuticle area. Because around the cuticle area, it is the dead skins and it keeps growing by the time. So it might easily cause a chipping or lifting problem. So when you apply the base, you have to pay more attention to it. Just avoid getting the base onto cuticle area. And then we are going to turn to this top finger. Make sure the base is applied on your nail plate. And make sure every time you brush it evenly. Then just dip at a 45°. And make sure the powder is pit out whatever base is applied. But avoid getting the base on the cuticle area. And brush off the excess powder. And then we are going to apply the second layer of base and then dip into the color powder. Tap it off and use this fluffy brush to thoroughly swipe each nail to remove the loose powder. And now we're going to do this small finger. Let's take out the number 1 base. And brush it evenly. As you can see, for our base is super easy to apply. Then we just dip into the color powder and let the powder well absorb with the liquid. And sweep away the loose powder. Then we apply the base again over the entire nail. But avoid getting the base onto cuticle area. Then dip the color powder again. Let the powder stay for a while. Then tap it off. Use this fluffy brush to help you brush off the excess powder. And make sure every time used, keep the caps tightly closed. Well, as you can see, we have already finished 10 fingers. Let's clean the mess up. And we are going to do the filing and buffing process. We're going to use this drill machine to do this filing, but just do the filing slightly. Well, when you are using this drill machine, you can test the speed on your skin first. And just file from nail plate and then turn to the cuticle area. But do not over filing. You can just do it very slightly. Because for our GH fast drying dipping powder, it is smooth with correct sizes. So when we finish 2 coats, the nail surface is still very even and smooth. So we just do it very slightly and just file any places that went clumpy. But when you are doing this process, you have to use 2 fingers to protect the model's hands, because we don't want to file the cuticle area. It might touch the skin. Well, if you are beginners and you are the first time to try our GH fast drying dipping powder, and the preparation is a very key point. Like if you are having issues with nails popping off or lifting, you have to make sure you thoroughly prep your nails before application, so that you can make sure their adhesion and long-lasting wear. So you have to pay more attention to the preparation. Like you have to push back the cuticle and cut off the excess cuticles or some dead skins around it to avoid the lifting. And you have to remove the natural shine or any oil from your nail bed by using the file. Just lightly buff the bed before application. I think that was the one thing that helped you to adhere the powder to your nail bed. So for beginners, you have to pay more attention to it, and you can also find some videos from YouTube. Just search GHdip, and you can find how to prep your nails before application. Do not over filing or buffing. Just do the filing from nail plates to the cuticle area. And just file any places that go clumpy. And make the nail surface become more even and smooth. Well, when you're doing this filing, actually, for our GH Fast Strand Dipping Powder, it is smooth enough. So I even suggest that you guys can just do this filing. No need to do this filing because it is smooth enough. But if you have the drill machine at home, you can just do it very slightly. And next, we're going to use this nail file to shake your nails. Just shake the desired shape as you want, because different people might seal different shapes. Like someone likes the round shape, or someone that suits the vertical shape. So you can just do whatever you like. And you can also find this nail file from our GH accessory kit. It is very helpful and useful for beginners. And for our accessory kit, you can find out that we have the fluffy brush and the nail file and the buffer and the clear powder. So it is very useful for the rookies. And for our GH, we are going to launch more and more products. As we all know, we have already launched the glow in the dark. It is including 12 colors. And next, I think we are going to launch more and more videos about the glow in the dark and how to use the glow in the dark. And there are also some information and tips you have to pay more attention. So just keep an eye on our Facebook or Amazon. And next, we're going to use this buffer to file the nail surface. Well, first we have to use the coarse grit buffer to even out the preferred thickness of the nails. But just do it very slightly. And then we just turn to the 240 grit buffer to smooth the nail surface. Do not over filing or buffing. And if you want more information about our GH Fast Giant Dipping Powder, you can just follow us on Facebook. And you can also post your nails when you're doing this dip powder. And if you have any problems, you can also contact our customer service. And she will answer all your questions. Well, when we finish this buffing, we're going to apply the activator. It is the number 2 activator, and it is to make the top coat get dry and double shiny. Remember that in the whole process, we only need to apply one-time activator. It is totally different from any other brand's powder in the market. Because for our fast giant dipping powder, it can dry within 30 seconds by itself. And no matter in winter or in summer, it's gonna dry within 30 seconds. It won't be affected by any room temperature. And for the fast drying, it is a powder that can dry faster and can dry itself within 30 seconds. So you can also combine any other brand's dip liquid. But in my hand, I suggest that it is better to use the powder and our dip liquid because they belong to one system. And when you're doing our GH Fast Giant Dipping Powder, it's gonna save your time. And when you hurry up to go out, you can just do your manicure very quickly. And it is very easy for beginners to apply. And for our GH Fast Giant Dipping Powder, we have 108 colors, and 18 kits got launched. And we're going to release more and more colors. Well, for our GH Fast Giant Dipping Powder, it is a new formula because we don't need to apply the activator to make the powder get dry. It can just dry itself and gets hard when you apply 2 coats of the powder. And when you are using the top coat with our GH Fast Giant Dipping Powder, it can dry within 1 minute. It is faster than any other brand's top coat. So now we have already finished the buffing. So just use the fluffy brush to brush off the particles. And then use this link-free wipe to wipe off any dust particles that stays on your nail plate. If you don't have the link-free wipe, you can just use a tissue or any paper. I think it's okay. Just wipe off the dust particles because for next step we're going to apply the activator on. Well, let's take out the number 2 activator. Well, in this step, we need to apply this activator, and its function is to make the top coat get dry and double shine. But remember is that do not over apply. And do not apply much more activator because it's gonna cause the cracking problem. And also keep in mind that we only need to apply one-time activator in the whole process. And for the activator, it is super easy to volatilize, so we have to keep it very tightly after every time use. As you can see, we have applied the activator on. So next step, we are going to apply the top coat. For our top coat, we are gonna coat 2 layers. And first layer is a very thin stroke. Just apply a very thin layer. And when the first layer gets matte but still sticky, we can start to apply the second layer. And when we finish 2 coats of the top coat, you can also use a trickster to pick up some accessories and just put it on your nail plate. Now, as you can see, when the first layer gets matte but still sticky, remember that we have to apply the second coat when the first layer gets matte but still sticky. We cannot wait the top coat get dry completely. Then we start to apply the second layer. It's gonna make the top coat not shiny at all, so we have to pay more attention to this point. This is a trick when you are applying the top coat. Apply first layer of the top, very thin stroke. And when it gets matte but still sticky, we can start to apply the second layer. And then we just use the trickster to pick up the accessories on. Well, we just apply a very big circle and then we just pick up a small circle and just put it at the bottom. You can also pick up whatever accessories that you like. But you have to do this step when we finish 2 coats of the top. And let it air dry. Well, when you're using the dipping system, we don't need to put it in the UV lamp. It's gonna dry by itself. So we just apply the first layer of top. Just apply a very thin stroke, a very thin layer. Well, basically, you can just apply the first layer of the top on 3 fingers. And when you finish the third finger, you can just turn to the first one and start to apply the second layer. You can treat it as a trick when you're applying the top coat. Well, when the gas map is still sticky, we can start to apply the second layer. And make sure every time you brush it evenly and avoid getting the top onto the cuticle area. Well, let's turn to the second hand. We're going to apply the activator on. Remember that in the whole process, we only need to apply one time. It is totally different from any other brands in the market. Because basically for other brands powder, they have to apply 2 times of activator. But when you are using our GH Fast Strand Dipping Powder, we just apply 1 time. And this purpose is to make the top coat get dry and double shiny. Well, after the activator, we can start to apply the top coat. And for our top coat, is just like a regular polish. It is very super easy. It is super easy to apply. And just apply a very thin stroke. Do not over apply. Well, after we finish 3 fingers, we can just get back to the first one and start to apply the second coat. And make sure every time you brush it evenly. And avoid getting the top onto your cuticle area. It might easily cause the dripping or lifting problem. And if you found out your top coat, it is very hard to open, you can just put some cuticle oil around the neck of bottle. So next time when you open it, you can find it is very easy to open. And after we finish 2 coats, we can start to apply the accessories. And you have to do this step when the 2 coats is finished. And just pick out whatever accessories you like. It is a decoration for nails. And after we picked up the accessories, we just let the top coat air dry. It's gonna dry within 1 minute. It is faster than any other brands. Well, we just apply the first layer of top. And for this finger, we can start to apply the second layer because the first layer already get matte but still sticky. And after 1 minute, it's gonna dry and become double shine. Well, as you can see, we have already finished the top coat. And this is today's nail art design. So thanks for watching. See you guys next time.